So we can add the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals to its counterpart, the Ninth Circuit, as not being a friend of the Second Amendment or of gun owners or frankly the Constitution in general. I am saying that for two different decisions that were rendered by the court earlier in the month of February. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first of the two that came through. It is asinine on its face. It is hypocritical, and the judges who ruled this thing should be ashamed. And it just simply goes to show how important it is that the Senate confirm constitutionalist judges to the Supreme Court who will interpret the Second Amendment as it was written. So, what am I talking about? Let me tell you. So earlier this month, as I said, there are two different decisions that were passed, one of which dealt with Maryland's ban on so-called assault weapons. First, let me say that the entire idea of an assault weapon is hypocritical on its face. It is born of ignorance. An assault weapon is a rifle that has the ability to be selective fire. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that every time you pull the trigger, it'll fire one round at a time, i.e. in semi-automatic, or there's a lever on it or a switch that you can toggle that makes the rifle a machine gun. In short, you hold down the trigger and the gun sprays bullets. That is a machine gun. That is what makes an assault rifle, by definition, is having the ability to be selective fire. You cannot buy a machine gun in the United States. That went away with the Hughes Amendment. So on its face, saying that it is an assault weapons ban is dishonest, it is a lie, and it needs to be addressed. So what exactly did Maryland ban? What Maryland banned were semi-automatic rifles that had evil features like a pistol grip or a bayonet lug or had the ability to take a 30-round magazine. None of those things make a rifle an assault rifle. The AR-15 comes to mind. A lot of people call AR-15s assault rifles. I challenge you, get on Google, do a search, and find me an army anywhere on the face of this earth that uses an AR-15 as a weapon of war, that equips their military with AR-15s. You're not going to find one, folks. It doesn't happen. They are not machine guns. They are not assault rifles. They are sporterized rifles made to look like the military version, the military variant that's used by the U.S. military, okay? They are not assault rifles. The AK-47s that you can go and you can get from your sporting goods store, like the one that I have, it's not an assault rifle. It is a semi-automatic. I don't have the ability to flip a lever and make that rifle spray bullets. So the Fourth Circuit is banning an entire category of firearms, an entire class of guns, just because of the way that they look. That is absolutely insane, and it flies in the face of a Heller decision, and it is a gross violation of the Second Amendment rights of the gun owners in Maryland, and unfortunately that could spread because of the precedent that it sets. Now, one thing we've got going for us is that since Donald Trump was elected president, he has pledged to support the Second Amendment and to appoint justices to the Supreme Court who are constitutionalists, who are originalists, who don't believe that the Constitution is a living document. Neil Gorsuch is one such man. And so the Fourth Circuit's decision will stand until and unless it is overturned by the Supreme Court. It is important for the people watching this video, get on the phone with your state senators and demand that they approve the appointment of Gorsuch and other constitutionalist judges. It is all important now. That is what this is all about. It is about the heart and soul of the Second Amendment. Now, the second ruling I'm going to talk to you about is in a lot of ways actually more important than even this first one. So basically what's going on is there was a ruling, again, I guess this came down about a week ago, and it started off with a gentleman who was illegally carrying a firearm, and he was pulled over in a traffic stop. The cops had received a word that he may be carrying a firearm illegally. Kudos on him on that. Here's where things get dicey. Under the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, you've got to have just cause to pull someone over and search their person, search their body. The police didn't have that. Now, I am not a lawyer, never claimed to be, I have no desire to be. Now, that being said, I am a student of the Constitution. I am not ignorant in those things. It is important as citizens that we know what our rights are. Well, long story short, what happened is that the name of this case is United States versus Robinson, was heard by the full court of the Fourth Circuit, 16 judges. And I'm just kind of reading this right now on my iPad. And basically, long story short, what the court ruled is that the Fourth Amendment does not apply. It actually goes a step further. It says that with this ruling, and I'm going to include links in all this in the video, what it says is that if you are concealing a firearm on your person, the police have every right to deem you dangerous, even if you're not making any kind of a threatening move, even if you tell the policeman at a traffic stop, for example, Mr. Officer, I just want to let you know that I am armed. How would you like for me to proceed? What that officer can do at that point is that they can actually confiscate the gun, they can handcuff you, they can arrest you, and treat you like a crack dealer down the street. That's what this does. It removes any need for due process on your part. You are automatically a danger. You are automatically a threat. And the reason why this is so egregious is that concealed carry is very popular in the United States. It's growing. Constitutional carry, where you can actually carry without a license, is gaining steam, is gaining traction. And I don't want a policeman to go through and just be able to search your person for absolutely no reason, and if you are lawfully carrying a gun, be able to arrest you, be able to seize that firearm, and treat you like some kind of a crack dealing thug that they picked up off the side of the street. That is what the Fourth Circuit has done in both counts. They are aggressively trying to curtail our Second Amendment rights. It is vitally important, people, that if you haven't already, join the NRA, get involved in the fight, write letters to the editor, write letters to your congressman, write letters to your senator, both federal and state. This is not going to get better until gun owners speak out. And one thing also that I'm going to say right here in this video is it's time for gun owners to stop playing defense. It is time for the Hughes Amendment that restricts ownership of machine guns to be repealed. That is insane. It is unconstitutional. The Constitution's Second Amendment specifically it is clear. It says the right of the people shall not be infringed to own firearms, and we have been allowing the governments to be infringing on those rights since the 1930s. Take the Hearing Protection Act that the NRA is advocating. What other site is there that you have to pay a tax to exercise? If I want to go and buy a suppressor for a rifle, I have to have a background check. I have to be, basically the federal government has to give me permission to own it, and then I have to pay a $200 tax to buy an accessory, which is effectively hearing protection for a rifle. A silencer is not like what the movies have. It doesn't make it where you can't hear a gun. It reduces the noise so that way you don't go deaf if you're shooting all the time. That's all it's about, people. And it is time for the Hughes Amendment to be repealed. It is time for the Federal Firearms Act to be abolished. It is time for gun owners to get up off of our butts And it's time for us to stop playing defense. It's time for us to go offensive. It is time for us to demand a restoration of our rights. And these unappointed judges, these unelected judges on the Ninth and the Fourth Circuit, they are not your friend. They are not going to give you justice. They are going to curtail your rights at every step that they possibly can. And it's going to be up to you, Mr. Gun Owner. Are you just going to wash your hands and say, oh, well, somebody else will fight it for me? If that's your attitude, you're part of the problem. Every single person watching this video, you've got to get involved in the fight. You've got to use your YouTube channel if you have one, Twitter, Facebook, use your social media, write letters to the editor, reach out to your elected officials. They serve at our pleasure, people. Are you just going to let them just walk all over your rights and treat you like some kind of a slave? Treat you as some kind of a serf? Or are you going to be a free man or a free woman and reclaim your birthright as an American? That's what's at stake here, people. And I hope that you do get involved. This is not a time for sunshine patriots. This is not a time for quarterback it off of your couch. It is time to get involved. It is time to make a stand. It is time to push back. And I really need your help. My channel is small. If you'd do me a favor and click that like button and that subscribe button below and share this video with your friends and your family, that helps me out tremendously. It helps the gun community out tremendously. It allows us to spread our voice and lets people know, hey, you're not alone in this. It is time to stop playing defense. It is time to take the fight to the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. It is time to break the back of the gun control lobby. It is time to end this. It is time to end the war on the Second Amendment. It is time to end the war on our rights. And as always, thank you for watching this video. Again, please like and subscribe. I cannot begin to explain to you how much that helps me out with this channel. And I thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for your viewership. And see you on the battlefield.